Hi everybody, my name is Vess Rusev and you're watching episode number 30 of Property Jobs. And today we replaced the long hair Mr. Maguire with a young gentleman with a trendy haircut.
Yeah,
Hey Oliver, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Vess. How are you?
Awesome. I'm
Yeah.
good, thank you. And thanks for taking the time in this beautiful Auckland weather. Property jobs, I always try to introduce you to people who are specialists in property, finance, or insurance. And is a Oliver is a qualified New Zealand financial broker and expert insurance planner from Elan Insurance Brokers.
Yeah, Align Insurance Brokers.
Awesome. But there was something really interesting when I was reading on the website. It says that he's a motorcycle enthusiast and a pancake enthusiast.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Tell me more.
Well, the motorcycling is kind of an interesting. It has like an interesting connection to the insurance that we do because we're doing life insurance and health insurance and stuff. So it's before I started competing in motorcycle racing,
Yes.
I made sure that all my life insurance and health insurance was all in place. So it's if the crash isn't too bad, then I can do my own claims, which is really good.
Oh,
The pancake side of things is interesting because I'm coming to the end of a championship now, and I'm trying to really lose weight
yeah.
because I'm competing against some smaller guys who are light.
Yes.
It's hard to keep up with them on the straights, so I'm not really having pancakes anymore. It's more of like a background. I wish I could be eating that sort of stuff, but
Yeah.
it's it's all fun and games, and it's kind of something different.
Yeah. Tell me more a little bit the motorcycling. You said you're competing, so it's not just an enthusiast. Probably it's a little bit
Yeah.
more than that.
Well, I used to race go-karts when I was a kid. I was always into motorsport and things which went fast.
Is this why parents started the insurance brokerage?
Yeah, yeah, to fund all the expensive hobbies. Yeah, it's kind of like horse racing or anything like that. It's a bottomless pit of money that you need to come up with.
Yes.
So we took a break from that when I started going through high school, and then I actually got into motorbikes to dodge traffic. As you know, obviously living in Auckland, both of us understand the pain of all
Yes.
of that. So I got into riding on the street, and then it kind of brought back memories every time I put the helmet on, the smell of the helmet, and taking the racing lines. I would see, like, going through a corner on the road, I would see like the racing line, even though I shouldn't be seeing that stuff. So yeah, we decided to get into a championship, and I did some track days first, and then did some racing, and then it turned out I wasn't horrible at it.
Yeah.
And now it's just an addiction, which is I need to sell some bloody insurance to fund it. Yeah.
That's good. That's good because you're self-employed. So in a way, you are your own boss. So you can.
To a degree.
To a
I mean, we'll probably touch on this
Yes.
in a bit, but
Yeah.
Dad started Align Insurance Brokers about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
More than 30 years ago now.
92.
And, yeah, 92. So what's that? 32 years.
Yeah.
And he's always specialised in the people side of insurance. And I came into the business probably about 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
But I grew up listening to Mum and Dad talk about insurance clients and difficult claims they had on the go. So it's kind of been something that I've always grown up with.
Yeah.
So Dad still has an input into what I do, which is actually really good because you don't just want to waste that experience. So I can always talk to him with difficult cases.
Absolutely. So can you tell me a little bit more about the brokerage and who is involved in the brokerage? I know that it's a family owned and it's a boutique, right?
Yep.
What does this mean?
So within the brokerage world, usually, so a broker's essentially the middleman.
Yeah.
You have the insurance companies, and then you have the clients, and
Yeah.
a good broker is supposed to guide the client to the best insurance company for them.
Yeah.
And give them details around what insurance they actually need. With Alarm, we are smaller, so there's 3 employees, myself, Dad, and Mum, so we truly are
Yes.
boutique at the moment. And what that means is each client that we have gets more attention. So the bigger brokerages will just try and push people through, get the numbers.
Yeah.
The good thing about us is we don't have any restrictions as to what products we can offer our clients and which insurance companies we work with. So there's really no downside to working with a smaller brokerage, but the upside is, especially during a claim, you'll get more tailored service. And we've seen some pretty hairy health claims that are quite in the grey area.
Yeah.
So it really pays to have a team which has seen a lot of stuff happen and actually has the time to put into your case. So that's kind of the basics around how.
And you had in the team the same people for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Right.
So we know what agitates each other, which in some cases is each other.
And they're still together, mom and dad, so that's good.
Yeah, so you could say that the insurance business is the glue that holds them together. Legally, yeah.
So with the introduction I said health, income, and life.
Yep.
Can you just say a few words about each of those?
Yeah, so the life insurance is pretty self-explanatory. It's something that pays out a lump sum to a family if someone passes away.
Yeah.
How that kind of ties into property. Often if you have a mortgage or a large amount of debt and you don't have a huge amount of cash savings, which is most people, then often life insurance can protect your other half or your family against you passing away and against that mortgage. So life's pretty straightforward. Health insurance, that's pretty straightforward as well. That just pays for your medical bills. That's something that a lot of people, especially since COVID, I'm not sure if we're allowed to say that word, but are looking into because they've heard stories about the public system being a bit crap.
Yeah.
The other type of insurance which kind of fits in with real estate is the mortgage protection or income protection. So that's something which, if you get sick and you can't work, whether it's an illness, a disability, an accident, whatever it is, the insurance company will pay you a replacement paycheck so you can keep paying your mortgage. So that's a really big one and something that not a huge percentage of New Zealanders actually or know anything about.
I don't think people are not educated on that specific insurance.
Yeah.
A lot of them, I talk with people every day, buying, selling, and it's very rarely a topic of discussion.
The banks often, when you go for a mortgage, the banks will often push you into their little insurance room with a stick and try and force you to sign up to a policy that they don't explain. They set it up in a really expensive manner, and then they package it with the debt that they're selling to you.
Yeah.
So
in a way that they go together, you need to.
Yeah, it's just something they can upsell you with.
Yeah.
And they try and push it through quickly, so they don't really explain things. So if there are people who have insurance through their bank, it probably would pay to get a third party point of view of it.
Yeah.
We've had heaps of cases where people have just been essentially stitched up, which is it's nice when you fix those issues, but it's a bit brutal when you first see them.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, interesting.
Hey guys, what's going on? Vess here. A lot of you leave comments, tell me that you need help. Please do me a favor. I will tell you the best way to get in touch with me. Shoot me a text message at 021 622 266. Again, 021 622 266. I'll help you with whatever I can. Now let's get back to the video.
And because I've heard you and Dad talking about sometimes about case studies, put you on the spot, but about health insurance, I know that you've shared a few cases that you've saved a lot of money to families. Because what happens sometimes is the case with me, if you're not happy with your health insurance, I send the policy and everything else to Ollie to have a look through, and you can immediately see if actually you're overpaying or you're paying for stuff that you actually don't need.
Well, I mean, there's kind of two sides to it. There's helping people through claims, which is like the big scary one where we get, big surgeries paid out for. We had a client at the beginning of last year be diagnosed with a spinal cancer,
Mm.
really serious stuff. They ended up having a surgery,
Yeah.
and then ongoing oncology treatment for that, and the total cost was over $100,000. And the insurance company, because they had the insurance in place prior to being diagnosed,
Yeah.
the insurance company paid for all of it, bar their $500 excess. So that's kind of fairly self-explanatory. In terms of saving people money on their premiums, good case about a month ago, I had a middle-aged couple with 2 kids who had mortgage, fairly standard stuff.
Yeah.
They were with, I think they were with Fidelity, and nothing against Fidelity. It's more how it had been specifically set up by the previous broker. They were paying something like $700 a month.
For a family.
Yeah, and obviously at the moment, cost of living, stuff like that, mortgage rates had gone up for them. They'd refixed, and they were starting to look at their budgeting, going, how the hell are we going to make ends meet?
Yeah.
So we came in, we looked at it, and all their wait periods on all their monthly covers, all their excesses, they were all really low, and it had all been set up essentially to maximize the commission of the previous broker, but didn't have much thought to their actual financial position.
Yeah.
So we shifted them to a different insurance company, but we set it up more for affordability rather than maximizing commission. So I think we ended up saving them about a bit over $200 a month, and they had all the same cover.
Wow.
So
That's pretty good.
it's pretty bad in some instances, the policies I've seen, but it's nice when you can fix those.
Definitely, and it's a massive relief when you can, save $200 a month, which
Yeah.
is, a couple grand a year.
This is why insurance brokers have a bad reputation.
Same as
Cars-
real estate
Yeah,
agents.
This is, we're in a high concentration area of industries with bad reps, like
Yes.
car salesmen. My brother, he's a car salesman. We've got a real estate agent. We've got an insurance broker.
If you start from the bottom, car salesman is
Yeah,
the worst, and
yeah.
then is the real estate agent. I'm not sure where's the
Oh.
insurance broker.
I would say we're down there amongst you guys. But it's quite nice because since the bar's so low
Yeah.
of just being morally a good person,
Yeah.
you can stand out in your industry just by doing the right thing.
Definitely. Let's have a little bit about KiwiSaver. I know that this is managing. They call it managing a KiwiSaver. Server.
Yeah, IT. Yeah.
KiwiSaver.
Yep.
You recently added that to the portfolio of the brokerage. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So it's kind of a no-brainer to add it to the insurance we're talking about.
Yeah.
Often we're dealing with people who are looking at buying their first home, or they perhaps already have.
Yeah.
And obviously with your KiwiSaver, if you're buying your first home and have had it for 3 or so years,
Yeah.
you can actually withdraw the bulk of your KiwiSaver. So it's a really straightforward product, KiwiSaver. But it's something that a lot of people don't get advice on. Again, like the insurance, they might have just
Straight
gone
to the
through
bank.
the bank. Yeah, and the bank isn't set up to give actual advice on or boutique advice, advice on the stuff. It's just something they'll sign you up to automatically.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a no-brainer, and it's something that if you set it up correctly, perhaps after you've purchased your first house, then going forward, if it's set up correctly, you can just sit back and chill and know that it's growing as fast as it can, and you've got someone who's checking in on you every year to make sure that we're still going towards our goals.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it ties in quite nicely.
Awesome. And what is usually the advice that you give people? Because I know that there are different, high risk, low risk, moderate. What is the?
Yeah. Well,
Why should they use
a broker.
a broker or an advisor instead of going straight to the bank?
Yeah. Well, when I sit down with people, and I've actually come from an appointment this morning out in Karaka,
Yeah.
where we did this. We sat down, we went through a questionnaire which basically finds out a bit about their situation, and their risk tolerance.
Yeah.
The biggest factor is how long can you spend in your KiwiSaver fund before you're withdrawing it. So if you have a longer time before you need to withdraw,
Yeah.
then you can go with a more aggressive fund, which is going to be more volatile up and down.
Yeah.
But over the long term, you'll get better returns than a conservative fund. So a lot of people who have just signed up with their KiwiSaver through their bank or through their employer,
Yes.
their default scheme, they'll be placed in like a conservative fund or a default fund, which at the moment, term deposits are like 5 or 6%.
Yes.
A conservative fund's pretty much 5 or 6%.
Okay.
So you might as well just have your money in a term deposit then.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I'm seeing is people who are just in these default funds that realistically aren't going to be accessing their KiwiSaver for 20, 30 years, and they're missing out on 3, 4, 5% year on year, which
Compound. Yeah.
by the time you get to 65, Vess, it's like damn, you've missed out on 100 grand or 200 grand, which is kind of changes what car you're driving in retirement.
Okay, interesting. So depending on the
Depending on the person, that kind of dictates, and their situation, that dictates what KiwiSaver provider you go with and what fund within that provider you select. And pretty much that's the two questions you need to answer. Beyond that, there's not much else with KiwiSaver. You just wait and watch the money grow.
Yes.
It's as easy as that. That's the sales pitch.
Yeah, awesome. So is there anything else that we didn't cover?
I think in terms of, maybe your viewers are more looking at the real estate industry, the KiwiSaver and mortgage protection are probably the biggest crossovers.
Yes.
Definitely at the moment with mortgage rates going up and, people looking at purchasing properties, trying to do the budgeting in their head, like, how the hell are we going to, afford repayments and stuff?
Yeah.
A big thing I'm looking at is with clients is just what's the critical stuff we need. We don't want any of the fluff or the nice to have.
Yes.
We just want exactly what we need. And if rates come down in the future and we have a bit more money, then maybe we can broaden the plan. So for the typical family purchasing a home, look, a little bit of life insurance isn't going to cost much, and the mortgage protection is the real critical one. Beyond that, it depends on the situation, but usually the other stuff is more a nice to have.
Yeah.
Those are probably the crossover points.
And how do you usually operate? Do you go and see people in person, on the phone, email? What is the best way to do it?
So usually we do in person, unless my dad used to do in person even for people in Christchurch, and so he used to he used to fly down like with his briefcase, like proper 90s, early 2000s stuff.
That's definitely a boutique service and
so we don't do that anymore. we need to worry about operating profit and stuff like that to some degree. But no, I still like to go see people. If they are out of Auckland, we do online meetings.
Yes.
But that's something that most insurance brokers don't do. So you can, and I think people appreciate that, sitting down with you and actually getting a line up on what sort of person you are. Because at the end of the day, you're entrusting this person with essentially your health and the product which is covering your health. So usually we go and see people. First meeting's just a pretty casual
discovery
thing. Discovery meeting. Probably similar to what you do when you've got someone who's thinking of listing. You find out a bit about them, and then you can go away and create a report and a plan of action.
What's the easiest way to get in touch with you? Just an email or text message?
So our I've got all my contact details.
Yes, I'll leave them in the description of the video.
So. That would be good. We've on our website you can contact us through there, or my phone number or email. And then if you want a second opinion on what you've already got, we can do that. We can compare, see if we can save some money. or if you've got nothing and you want a kind of an overview of what you should be having, then we can do that as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if you need any motorcycling advice, whatever you call it.
Yeah, if you want to figure out how to screw up your body in a crash, then I'm the man to come to.
And he will also insure you.
Yeah,
So
we'll do the insurance before we get into the motorcycle stuff.
that's like the Charlie Chaplin, right?
Yeah,
You break the window, and after that, okay,
yeah.
we're gonna replace the window.
That's actually a good point before we wrap up.
Yeah.
If you get your insurance in place first,
Yeah.
Before you start doing any of the crazy hobbies, then the insurance company can't exclude those after.
Yes. Yeah.
So, say
Pre-existing.
I get my insurance sorted out and then I decide to become a skydiver or a hot dog eating champion. I get big and all this stuff. They can't up my premiums. They can't exclude things afterwards.
Yes.
So do the responsible thing first and then you can do the stupid stuff after.
And for you youngsters, the earlier you do it, the better.
Yep. Yeah, before pre-existing conditions start piling up, because it can sometimes increase the cost of your insurance and create exclusions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Ollie. Thanks for the time. And guys, if you have any questions, I'll leave Oliver's details down below. And awesome. See you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.